first, it is a busy day of campaigning for President Obama and Mitt Romney coming off their final debate last night in Florida.
The third matchup was meant to be a forum about foreign policy, but some of the most pressing domestic issues somehow made their way into the debate.
At this stage, they both have their talking points, so they're getting to them no matter what. ABC's Karen Travers is in Boca Raton, where the 2-week countdown to Election Day is on. Good morning to you, Karen.
Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Sunny. Yep, 2 weeks to go. And last night, that was a really different debate than the one we saw last week in New York. President Obama and Mitt Romney really turned down the temperatures. Less interruptions, less fiery exchanges. But one thing they both did, they tried to emphasize that they do have key differences on foreign policy issues.
President Obama took every chance he could to remind Mitt Romney and the voters watching at home that he's the one with experience on foreign policy.
I know you haven't been in a position to actually execute foreign policy. Here's one thing I've learned as commander-in-chief.
Romney tried to neutralize the president right out of the gate.
I congratulate him on taking out Osama bin Laden and going after the leadership in al-Qaeda. But we can't kill our way out of this mess.
But the president kept up a steady barrage.
Your strategy previously has been one that has been all over the map and is not designed to keep Americans safe or to build on the opportunities that exist in the Middle East.
It was a tricky balancing act for Romney because on many key foreign policy issues, his statements on the campaign trail are similar to those from the White House. On Syria, he emphasized the U.S. needs to take a leadership role in diplomatic efforts first and foremost.
I don't think there's a necessity to put our military in Syria at this stage.
He doesn't have different ideas, and that's because we're doing exactly what we should be doing.
As expected, the candidates drifted from foreign policy to the #1 issue on voters' minds, the economy.
America must lead. And for that to happen, we have to strengthen our economy here at home. You can't have 23 million people struggling to get a job.
What we also have been able to do is position ourselves so we can start rebuilding America. And that's what my plan does.
There are few undecided voters remaining, and Rob and Sunny, both campaigns say the majority of them are women. So last night, President Obama and Mitt Romney tried to focus on the domestic angles of their foreign policies in order to win them over. Rob and Sunny?
The all-important women's vote definitely at play,
right.
That's for sure. And Karen, still an incredibly tight race. So what's the consensus out there? Who got the win?
Rob, I think you have to give this one to President Obama. He kept coming back to the fact that he's the commander-in-chief. He's the one that has the experience. He's the one that's been sitting at that desk making decisions over the last 4 years. Mitt Romney tried to come after him, but he was never really able to land a clean shot. So I think that's why you have to give President Obama the win. He came into this debate already with an advantage. Voters saw him as better on foreign policy issues. Mitt Romney has gained a little bit of ground, but the fact that he didn't do anything to shake up this the voters' opinions on that, I think you have to give it to President Obama.
Well, will this change the dynamic of the race?
Sunny, it's unlikely it's going to make any major impact. You know, we've seen that these debates have really made a significant dent in this race, but that's because Mitt Romney had some ground to gain, and he did it by showing voters that he was presidential and he could fit that role. You know, the ABC News Washington Post poll that came out yesterday found that 37% of Americans have a better opinion of Mitt Romney after those first two debates, but I don't think there was anything last night that you could say really is going to change things. President Obama came in favored on foreign policy. Mitt Romney didn't do much to shake that up. But of course, 14 days to go. They're going to try and see if they can get any momentum out of it if they possibly can.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Thanks a lot, Karen, for that report. Appreciate it.